Hey there. So one of the things that I want to make sure that I can show to people that are watching this is a way in which you can incorporate something like Socrative. Okay, so Socrative, I'm going to take you to the website there in a moment, is a free, there's a free version, and of course there's paid, but it allows you to do an awful lot with putting quizzes online. You can do formative, summative exams. You can ask questions of students as you're going through and creating an active process or an active learning process. And I found a lot of great things with this. So let me show you how this is done. So if you're looking at the slide here, one of the things that I used in a course or in a presentation that I gave is how to or answer the question of what is active learning. So let's take a look at how we set this up. Okay, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on how to create the slide. That's not what this is about, but here is that whole question. This kind of gives me the clue as I'm presenting where I need to be. I use the tiny URL shortener in which you can shorten things. So maybe it's a Google Doc or a Google form or something that is very long and you really want to shorten that down. This is one way to take a look at it. Once they also get into Socrative, they're going to have to enter in the room name, and you can set this room name up. This is something that I use most frequently, is my room name is actually put in here. So this way all they have to do is type it in. So let's take a look at how what happens when we pull up Socrative. So when I go to Socrative, and when I am in Socrative, one of the things that I can do is, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to log in, and it gives me the option to do a teacher or a student login. So the students are going to have to click on the student login, and that's something that I really don't want them to, a lot of times, to have to deal with. So that's why I use the tiny URL. I already have it set up to go straight to that login screen. But for us, we're going to go into the teacher login. Now, if you don't have an account, you can go ahead and click here and sign up and go through that process. But here's what's going to look like for that login. Okay, so we have our teacher login, and I'm going to go ahead and sign in with my account. Okay, so once I am signed in, now what I can do is I already created this quiz, but I'll show you how we did that. So we're going to go under quizzes. And here you can see that I have an activity example. So I can go ahead and add quiz. I can create a new one. I may have the ability to import it from other folks. Gives me the option of creating a multiple choice, a true, false, or a short answer. And the one that we did here was short answer. And I believe the question was about what is active learning. And in this case, this is all I want. I am not asking for anything else. And just for this simplicity issue, I'm only asking one question. I can ask multiple questions, and then I can control how those things are going to be. And we'll see that here in a second. So I went ahead and saved that, and it is now right here. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to launch, and I want to launch a quiz because I already have it made up. So I'm going to use our activity example, which is the same thing that I had before, and I'm going to click next, and I can choose whether or not this is instant feedback, there's open navigation, or teacher paced. Now in a case like this, I want this to be teacher paced. I do not want the students to be able to move ahead because I'm trying to control this and make sure that they're not answering additional questions a little bit later on. I have the ability to require or not require their names. I can shuffle the questions, shuffle the answers. I can show the question feedback. Can also show final scores. And if I wanted to limit attempts, I do have to upgrade it. But for me right now, I'm pretty kosher at that. So we're going to hit start, and it's set to go. So when we now will launch, what is going to happen with our tiny URL here in a minute, I will show you how we did that. All right, so you remember that we had two ways to log in. So I am going in here to the student login, and the student login, you will notice, is giving me this right here. So it's kind of long. You could ask the student to go to Socrative.com and click on login and go through the process. And it depends again on how your students are with screens, right? How well they are with technology. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right mouse click and I'm going to copy this. And now we're going to pull up tinyURL. So all I did here was type in tinyURL into my browser search, and this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the tinyurl.com shortener, and I come over here, and this is truly going to be this simple. All I need to do is place my cursor into where it says the long URL. I'm now going to paste it, and I can add in something on the bottom. Just for simplicity's sake here, I can make up another one because it'll be used again, and that is going to be Socrative login. And we'll see if that'll work. So now when I make this as tinyURL, it tells me that, hey, guess what? It works. Socrative login. I can then copy this to my clipboard, and then I can go back into my presentation. And there we go. We now have that in here, and now we can go in and take a look at what the student is going to see. So once the student has gone into the link, and this was a tinyURL again, here you can see that it just then takes it right to the website that I need them to be at. Now they have this up on the screen as to what the name or the room name is, and we'll just go ahead and put that in here real quick. And then it's asking me for my name. And now it's asking me the question of what is active learning, and I can go ahead and put in my information, and then I submit it. Now you can see that it is now telling them that you've completed the current activity and you're waiting for the next activity, or they're waiting for the next activity to begin. Now what is it that you see? You have the ability to see what the answers are. This is what somebody has put in. Obviously this is what I put in. And you can see here that when I click the either hide or show names, it tells me what they put in, and I have the ability to see what it is that they did. And then when I'm done, all I have to do is hit finish. And are you sure I want to end it? Absolutely. And then at the end of the day, I can actually pull down some statistics to see what my students actually did. Great tool, great resource. It's free. You can do some things on the fly with it, but this is just how we set up to put in how to do an active learning activity and create something in an active classroom, right? Great tool. I've used it for attendance in classes, and you can download a lot of this information in regard to an Excel spreadsheet and save it for future use. Hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.